Hey everyone, it's Dana.
Oh, and Jamie.
Sorry. This is the first time we're infoing together. So, and thank you guys all for joining us tonight at the Modern Mom Lounge, live in the lounge. We're going to wait a few minutes for some people to come on, but we want to thank you for spending your Thursday evening with us. It's a little sad because our last show, we were sitting next to each other, person to person, and now we are back to split screen.
It's okay. We'll be together soon.
I know. I hope so. But so last week's show was a lot of fun. We talked about gratitude and introduced our series, our weekly article series that we have on gratitude that's on the modernmomlounge.com right now. The first two articles went live already, and every Tuesday, a new article will come out. There are 6 in total. And then at the end, we have a special surprise for everyone that continues along with us on our gratitude journey. So without further ado, I am going to introduce to you guys our guest for this week. Her name is Lauren Fischer. She is a children's book author. I actually met her almost maybe a year ago. She was one of my first Women to Know Wednesday interviews. Her books are very motivating for both parents and children alike. And I actually met her kind of in person, but not in person, but we were both at the AC Squared Ellen DeGeneres interview down at the Hard Rock, and she gave Andy Cohen a book for his son. She's talking up behind the scenes here, but she gave Andy Cohen a book, and I'm like, I know that girl. I interviewed her. So without further ado, we are going to go live in the lounge with Lauren.
That's so funny. I forgot about that.
How funny is that? I know. I was like, oh my gosh. I was sitting next to my friend Alyssa, and I was like, I know her.
That's so funny. I really forgot about that. Oh my God.
We are so excited to have you here live in the lounge. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
It's our pleasure. So I know a lot about you, but our audience doesn't. So why don't you give like a high level on your background and a little bit about you.
Okay, so I am a mom. I have 2 children. I'm a teacher. I taught elementary school for 9 years until I had my son, and then I decided to stay home. I've been a writer since I was a child, and I always dreamed of writing children's books. And it wasn't until my son and my daughter were both already born that my husband said to me, why are you sitting on these wonderful ideas? Like, let's share them with people. And so in 2014, I started my company, The Bee Books, knowing that I wanted to create a brand around being yourself and being confident in who you are. And it took me until I was older to learn a lot of these skills of how to speak kindly to yourself and how the importance of like I am statements and things like that. But I thought I want to teach kids at a young age how to do those things and how to just love who they are and be kind to other people and also just create a world of kindness. So I put all of that into my books, and I created a brand around that, around just being kind, being you, being respectful, being accepting.
So amazing. So wait, how long have you been writing books?
How long have I been writing books? Or so I published my first book in 2015. My second book, 2015, the end of the year. I'm actually about to publish my 7th book. So in 5 years, and then my 8th book is waiting in the scenes, like behind the scenes. So yeah, I started publishing in 2015. I've been writing forever. Like one of my books I wrote in 2006, but I started publishing in 2015.
Wow, that's a lot to do in such a short period of time. You know what I wanted to ask you? So who are your favorite children's authors?
Okay, so I love Peter Reynolds. Do you know who that is? So one of my favorite books as a teacher was The Dot. And it's about a child who doesn't think they can draw. And their art teacher says, just draw a dot. And the child draws a dot. And the next day he comes to school and the teacher has it framed on the wall. And then he just starts building up his confidence and he keeps drawing more dots until he ends up having this beautiful, I know, it's so beautiful. And how a teacher has that impact on a child. All of his work. I love Shel Silverstein. The Giving Tree is like my ultimate.
My favorite.
That's my favorite. Out of all children's books, my ultimate favorite is The Giving Tree.
I love that.
It has the moral, it has the kindness, it has everything. And
One of the first times I met my husband after I met him, he gave me that book.
he did. That's the part. So it's funny when my son started reading and he read me the book The Giving Tree, I was crying. I was like, my own son is reading me my favorite book. Like that was so special to me. Yeah.
That's so moving. That's awesome. My other favorite book is Where the Wild Things Are.
So it's funny. Maybe because I just didn't grow up reading it all the time. I like the sappy, I'm blanking right now. Where the mom gets older, the baby gets older.
Oh,
I'll love you forever. I'll like you for always, as long as I'm with you.
Oh my God, I cried like a baby.
I hysterically cry in that one. My kids are making fun of me. So thank you. Oh, that's also up there. But that one, I hysterically cry.
Yeah, no, for sure. So, and who do you have any adult authors that you like to follow?
Yeah, so I love Mitch Albom.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know his books or?
Yeah, that one I know.
Okay, so I think his books are easy reads, but they're also like they get you thinking. Tuesdays with Morrie is, I think, my favorite adult book.
Mm-hmm.
That one just makes you think about life and just appreciate and everything. And then The 5 People You Meet in Heaven.
Oh,
Have you read it?
that one too. Yep.
Okay, that one changed my life. That one makes you really think about the impact you have on everyone. And even if it's a meeting for 30 seconds, how you can change their outcome of their life.
Right. Yeah, that was very impactful. That I probably would even put above Tuesdays with Morrie, but I like both.
Yeah.
Like both of them are awesome, but two great ones.
Yeah, he's just my favorite. In recent years, I've stopped since becoming a mom, but I love reading Holocaust stories. Like,
Okay.
Isn't that so sad? Like real life stories of people who survived the Holocaust. And so I've got favorite authors that are real life people that went through experiences. But yeah, Betty Schimmel wrote an incredible book called To See You Again. And if you want to cry your eyes out, read that.
Okay. No, that's good to know.
I read it right now during COVID.
No, I love to read. I think my sister and I both were brought up. I think we got a library card as soon as we were able to. And our free time was going to the library and getting books. And I also remember from a very young age, we used to come down to Florida. We lived up in New York. We'd come down to Florida. And I think we went to the Tamarack Library like every other day to get books. We like joined their summer reading program. And to this day, we still try as best as we can to instill the amazingness of reading to our kids. My boys are more of the audio readers now because they're in their teens. But it's just, I love to read because I get out of I go into another world. You know what I mean? Like you become a different person, the imagination or the learning. I mean, it's just so amazing. And Mitch Albom is one of those authors that really pulls it.
Yeah.
So we discussed like what inspired you to write children's books. So you're like, okay, I am going to write books. I'm going to publish them. I am going to become this published author, which is amazing. I think it's wonderful. How long does it take you typically to write a book?
So it depends on the book. So my book, Love Grows Love, I wrote in maybe 4 minutes. It was like just, do you know that book? I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. So that one is like a very simplistic, but very detailed, like in-depth book. I'll kind of give you a little, so Love Grows Love. And it's very simplistic, but at the same time, it was, okay, love grows love. The next word I was debating about using, but kids use this word, hate grows hate.
Mm-hmm.
Smiles grow smiles. And it was about energy. Sadness grows sadness, and acceptance grows acceptance. Fear grows fear. I don't want to make you do it all.
No.
Okay. And at the end, this is the most powerful part. And so this one is one that I use when I go to fifth graders, or when I speak to older kids in a school. I use this because it's about energy. It's about what you're putting out is what you're getting back. So this I wrote in literally 5 minutes. And then other books, my zebra book, Every So Often a Zebra Has Spots. This one I wrote in 2006, and then I rewrote it, and then I rewrote it. This was my third book that came out. And this one probably took me a total of like 10 years to finally really make it happen. So 5 minutes or 10 years. And the funny thing is that now I'm going back to the original that I wrote this. And it's coming out this month. It's called The Zoo's Big News. And it's the original the original version that I wrote of the zebra with spots. About the mom's perspective of what she thought when she saw her baby was different, and how she was scared. And eventually she realized that because he's different, he's even more special, like, which really we're all different. Right. So yeah, it just depends on the book. I mean, so, and this is, by the way, I had to do a little mock-up today. So this is my new book. I was folding it. Wait, I'm not.
Yeah, no, I get to totally see.
This is not what the back's going to look like because I'm working on it. But yeah, I had to do a little mock-up today for my new book. So it's fun. Let me tell you, it's like having babies. I have a lot of babies that don't talk back. Every book I write, when it arrives and I hold it, it's like, oh my God, it's alive. And it's just a cool feeling. I don't know how to describe it. It's like having babies. I'm delivering a baby. Thank God I don't have to deliver them. But every year I have another baby. It keeps on coming.
No, I love your passion. Like, I can feel it in your talking.
Thank you. Oh.
Yeah, I love the first book, the one thing that took 4 minutes. And I'm sorry, what?
Love Grows Love.
Love Grows Love. Yeah, because one thing that I am seeing in children, in adults, and even in the workplace, it's like the idea of what you put out into the universe is what you're going to get back. Like, it's becoming more acceptable to talk about things that way, even if it's about how you work. I'm in HR, we do a lot of culture focus, and we're kind of weaving that in now about this human element and this idea of how you treat people and empathy and all of that. And so I love that you're teaching children that at an early age. It's so simple, but it's so powerful. And if we can learn that, I
love that you're doing that in HR, in the workforce. So why do I put so much passion towards my books? Because trust me, it's exhausting. So right now, COVID hit us hard. We started out this quarantine with my father-in-law getting COVID and passing away on April 5th.
Right.
So like when everyone else was just getting adjusted to staying home, we were already dealing with my father-in-law in the hospital, and I was on the phone every day. And it was just a lot of I was going through stuff that I wasn't expecting yet. Okay. We were just like, I kept saying, maybe it's that Corona thing. And they kept saying, it's not. It's not. He has to have all three symptoms. Okay. So we started out the year like that. And then I decided to homeschool my children. So now ironically, my business is blooming at the same time that I'm full-time homeschooling my children. And I'm like, why? Why did this happen before when my kids were in school? Like, why
that way?
energy. But what I love that you said is that I feel like children are not being taught these things at a young age, and adults aren't being taught it. So unless you go through something that's really a challenging time that you have to be forced to, you're not going to learn about it. So many adults that I know don't know about positive self-talk and don't know about like controlling the way we think. And And even when you know about it, it doesn't make it easier. It just makes you aware of it.
Right.
So I love hearing that you're focusing on that. Of course, that makes me so happy because, to be honest, most of my books are really for adults more than kids. Most of them. So I want to share with you one of my books. So I have 6 books. Can I show you all of them? Just so you see them?
This is so much fun.
Okay. So I am actually in the process of making them all into hardcovers. So you're going to get to see some, but like these are my paperback and hardcovers, and these are my board books. Okay. So I'll show you. So you saw Love Grows Love.
Mm-hmm.
Then you saw Every So Often a Zebra Has Spots. This was my first book, Be Who You Were Meant to Be.
Yep.
It's also in Spanish, Se Quien Quiere Ser. So I'm a Cuban. My mom was born in Cuba. And so I was like, for my first book, I'm going to honor my heritage. And I made it in Spanish as well. This was my second book, You Are a Superhero. It's about how a real superhero is somebody who makes kind choices, who's respectful, who's positive. This book just came out. This one actually has a tribute to my father-in-law. I'll show you. And I did a whole thing about COVID in the back. That's my father-in-law. And the domino is the date that he passed away. I added that in.
That's a beautiful tribute.
And he knew he was in the book before he got sick. But after he passed, I added him here as a superhero. And he was a professional soccer player and he was a Holocaust survivor. So I made him the soccer player with the superhero cape. But I'm going to just give a little. This book is my grandpa and my son. I'm like not very good with matching it up on the camera.
Oh, it's perfect.
And my grandpa just passed away October 26th. So this book right now has so much meaning to me. And the fact that my grandpa got to like hold it and see it and love it. Yeah. I'm doing a lot of like charity work right now with this book because in memory of both of those two men, I want to just give back to the world in their honor. And so I'm trying to find as many organizations that I can like donate and work with children and get my grandpa and my father-in-law in people's homes and like spread positivity. So, and then this one, The Light Within Me, is a book that means so much to me because I went through, parents are watching, right? Moms. So I was pregnant with a third baby and I lost the pregnancy right at the halfway point at 19 and a half weeks. And I went through a really hard time after, and I was laying in bed one day, my blackout blinds were shut, and a little bit of light was coming in through a crack. And I remember I'm very spiritual. I'm not very religious. I'm very spiritual. And I remember thinking, that's the universe telling me that light is more powerful than darkness, and that the darkness in the room was gone when that little bit of light came in. And I sat down and I wrote a poem called One Room at a Time. And I said to myself, I need to teach children to find that light inside of themselves. And then this came about. So this book has a lot of meaning to me because we all have light and darkness inside of us, and it's what we choose to focus on. At the end, if you want me to give you a story time, this is the one I want to read you.
Okay.
So sorry for that whole spiel, but
no.
So each of my books is really about, if I learn something, I want to teach people. Like there's a reason why I'm learning it. I'm not just learning it for me as a one individual in the world. I'm learning it to help other people. So that was a really powerful lesson to learn, kind of the hard way to learn it, but I've been told from parents that it's helped other kids. So that's all I need to hear.
Well, that's got to be the best thing in the world to hear is that it's so powerful for you to be able to take situations in your life that are of pain and lessons learned and be able to translate it in a way that both children and, as you said, adults can understand and appreciate it and learn from it. And then to hear from the parents saying, you're helping my children. I mean,
I know there's nothing better.
Totally. It's each book is like a mitzvah. You're doing such a good thing for adults and kids alike.
Thank you. It's about getting the messages out there, right? That's the hard part. The challenging part is I'm not a businesswoman. I've become one. And I wouldn't say I've become one. So I don't want to say I'm not one, but I enjoy the creative process. I enjoy the writing. I enjoy, like, every illustration is not, I don't draw them, but I draw them and then I give it to my illustrator and I give him the ideas I want and he makes them real. Like, he brings them to life. He brings my dream to life, which is unbelievable. But yeah, it's really hard. Like, social media is exhausting. You're on it.
Yes.
Draining. It's draining. And like, I want to do it, but it's very draining.
I hear you. No, it is. It is. It's like a never ending hamster wheel.
Exactly.
But no, and I was going to ask you who did your illustrations and stuff, because they're beautiful. They're colorful. They're so well done. I admire the brightness in them and the retrospect with them. Beautiful work. You have a great illustrator.
My illustrator is unbelievable. He is amazing. I feel bad. He's always like, let's focus on one book. And I have like 3 others waiting for him. I'm like, can we just do them all at once? Like, can you quit everything else and just focus on me? Because when I have an idea, I want it just out in the world. I'm not very patient. I want it now. I want somebody to read it right now. Both of you look like you have the same smile at this moment right now. You look exactly the same right now.
You're making us smile with all of this. I'm like, oh my God, I know a million gifts I'm going to give now. I mean,
God.
this is amazing.
I love signing books. So if you order through my website, I'll sign them. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
And we'll be sure to put your website at the end, and then also in the replays, everyone will get your website, holiday gifts, social media. I'll put your social media handles too as well, because it's really important, I think, for people to gift meaningful. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many gifts you could give, but to give a gift of meaning, it's, I don't know. And then it's unbelievable. I'm so excited.
Can I ask a question?
Of course.
So Lauren, I know you mentioned wanting to read a story, and you may have said this, so if I missed it, I'm sorry. But through your social media, do you do like story time or regularly read your books for people? Because I think part of the gift that you have of not just writing is your passion. And so I imagine hearing you tell your stories must be powerful.
It's a good question. So I've done it in the past. On Facebook, I really should have a story time every week. It's just, I haven't done it. I don't really, with social media, I'm still learning the process. I can pre-record.
Dana can help.
Oh, really? Yeah, there you go. I know, I'm still learning the process. Like, I don't know. So I've done where I've gone on live and I'm like, okay, I'll read a book, or like a new book came and I'm excited. But if people aren't following in that moment, I feel like lame. And I'm like, well, why is nobody on right now?
One thing you have to, I still to this day think no one's listening, no one's watching or whatever. But what I've noticed is there are people watching. There's always, I call them creepers, but they're good creepers. But there are also people that catch the replays after, because not everyone's available at 7 p.m. You do have to try to schedule ahead of time so that people can get an idea. And I might say, oh my gosh, Lauren's reading at 7. I saw her post saying she's going to read at 7. But then if something comes up, as long as I know that there's a replay, I'm going to go back to it. So those are, don't worry about it. The replays are going to be just as good as, sorry, my dog is thinking.
No, you're good.
Are going to be just as fruitful, and you just keep them on, they'll grow legs. I'm telling you.
Well, people can't go to story time in libraries. Like, I mean, I think about what I used to do with I don't know if my kids are old now. I have someone going to college, but you know, we used to go to story time at the library, and you can't do that anymore. So imagine they turn you on, and it may not be at the time that you're doing it live, but like I'm sitting with my kids, or, you know, and you can have people go on virtually together. It just, you know, I think it could be amazing just to hear you tell the story.
Thank you. So the teacher in me wants to like have that back and forth. I want to have the interaction, and you don't get that when you're doing the virtual.
No, it's true. Yeah, it's true, but they'll still be able to watch. Do you have a YouTube channel?
No, that is the topic that's getting brought up. And I keep being told I have to have a YouTube channel.
Okay, so yeah,
I'm so overwhelmed by that comment.
No, don't be at all. Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
We can talk about this offset. But to have people know that there's a repository that they could go to at any time, like Jamie was saying, and watch you tell the stories, I think is huge, because some people are on, I feel like YouTube would be such a great avenue for you, for your storytelling. We're giving you some consultation.
I know. I should be writing things. I should be taking notes.
You can watch the replay.
There you go. YouTube. Yeah. But you have to pre-record and have it ready to go. You probably have to have a month worth before you go on.
When you first start the channel, yeah, but you could totally go live on Facebook and then download it and repurpose it. That's what I'll talk to you about later. And then it's like easy peasy.
All right.
One question. Did you put the questions up too?
What was that?
One question I had: when you write your books, do you actually engage your kids in writing the books, or?
Okay, so that's a good question. My kids think it's just normal. They think every mother writes books, and I didn't really understand the concept until books come, and I'm like, another book, and they're like, oh, another book. I'm like, dude, you know how cool that is? Like, your mom writes books. But my kids also think it's normal that they're in books. So aren't everyone's kids in books? So each of my books, like the superhero, my daughter's like, that's me. That's me when I was younger. And this was based off my son. His hair color is orange. And I waited till my daughter was born to find out if she was a blonde or a brunette or a redhead. So I added her in. And this was, so it's kind of cool that my kids throughout, as these are my children at that point in their life. And my son is life now. So do I engage my children? My children are part of the book. Literally, that's my son. And my daughter is in this book, and my nephews. Everyone's like, when am I getting in a book? When am I getting in a book? My mom made it in this book. My mom's a piano teacher, and I was like, that's it. My mom's getting in this book. And my daughter, they're on the slide. So my kids are engaged in the book because they're actually physically in it. But when I write something, when they were younger, I couldn't get their opinions because they were so young. And it was like, but in the last 2 books that I've done, right. I've had them listen. I have a couple new stories that this year, quarantining has made me have like a list of books that I need to work on. Great. It's just inspiration just keeps coming. But, and I'll read it to them and I'll say, what do you like? Or and my daughter listens more than my son. My son's like, okay. He's not as interested in the moment.
Yeah. Girls are a little bit more
women.
Yeah.
So, but once the book is complete, he wants to read it. So look, yesterday I got the Zoo's Big News from my illustrator. Now it's in a book format. And I said to my kids, who wants to read it? And Molly was like, I want to read it. So Molly came and sat on my lap, and we're homeschooling. She wasn't really a reader until in the last month and a half of me teaching her. And she read my book. And I was like so emotional that my kid and my son read it to me too. But my daughter, she's a new reader. So it was like so cool to hear my kid read my own book. That's cool. Like there's no comparison.
That is
I'm like, so what do you think? And she goes, I really like it. Can you reread it to me now? I was like, done. Winning moment. I checked. Yeah. So, and then when I ask my kids to read at night, if they know that they don't want to read, because my kids are not big readers, which is funny. And which I have to add, you said that you guys both read. We always went to libraries, but I was always a writer. I preferred writing to reading.
Okay.
Always. If my mom would give me a book to read or a journal to write in, I wrote in the journal. I always preferred writing.
Well, look where it's brought you. It's amazing. Thank you. Thank your mom for giving you the journals.
Yeah.
Right.
My diaries were very not good. Like some scary stuff.
We would love for you to read one of your books if you'd like.
You want to read one?
Yeah.
So, okay. So I said the light within me.
Mhm.
Light is my other one that I feel like is so important. It's also very simplistic.
Mhm.
I read the Love Grows Love a little bit, so I'll read the light within me.
Okay.
Okay. The light within me. I should have grabbed the, okay, let's see. You can see? I have a light within me. When I am happy, excited, confident, and positive, it shines ever so brightly. When I am sad, disappointed, overwhelmed, and negative, it dims so low that I too can't see my own bright light. I have the power to either leave my light on or to turn it off. This light within me can light up my home. It can light up my community. It can light up my state. Shout out to Florida. I was like, I'm doing Florida.
I love it.
It can light up my country. It can light up the world. But what is it? Why do I have a light within me? Why was I given this light? Look how cool her light is. She's shining.
Oh.
Every single one of us has a light within. What will we do with it? Will we share it? Will we hide it? Will we make this world brighter or will we darken it? Will we use our powers for the good or for the bad? This is our choice. This is our power.
Sorry,
Molly, I need you out, girl.
I just wanted to give you this.
That's my daughter.
She's the cutest.
Say hi,
I made
everyone.
this for all of us.
Oh, that was so nice. Say hi, Molly.
Hi.
Molly,
Hi,
are you in the book?
Well, technically, I'm in about one of them.
You're just in one of my books?
I think it was two, actually.
Which book?
But yes.
That's called live chatting. No, mommy doesn't want to do Thank you. As I'm going to eat on. Okay, go out, Moms. I'll be out soon.
But do you want
No, thank you, baby. No, thank you.
Don't want it
No.
now, or they?
Sorry, guys. This is what happened.
No, this is motherhood. I love this.
Oh my God.
We've actually talked
No,
about
right now.
having kids
At the
on.
door.
You want it later?
Yes, later. I'll have it later.
Let her stay.
Oh my God. I don't know if you want her to stay.
She could totally stay. No, we want kids. We've been talking about
Really?
that actually.
My son.
It's a mom show.
As she's shoving the bread in my mouth. Okay, I choose to lighten up the world. I choose to brighten even the darkest night. I choose to bring joy and laughter and positivity to those who meet me. I choose life. That's my daughter. And this main character I made me. It was the only book I actually made me as the main character. You can too. You too have the ability to turn a dark room into a bright room. You too can make someone smile and make their day even brighter. But there is more. This is my favorite page in the whole book. My light is not just for me. My light has a magic power. It can be shared. The light within me can become the light within you. And the coolest part is that when I share my light only grows stronger. It never dims. Together we can light up even more of the world. Together our light can electrify and empower the world. We can continue to spread the light to others. And slowly the world will become a more beautiful, more positive, more happy, more loving, more accepting, more brilliant, more illuminated place. So one thing I should tell you, I'm a teacher. All of my books that are not board books have extra pages in the back that I added. I had to, so my books are very deep, like even my zebra book. It's a very simple, funny book. But everything has depth to it. And I realized that parents weren't getting that depth. So I decided to give it to them. So I gave them just conversation starters to have with your children at home. And then activity pages. So,
Oh my gosh.
so different activities, gratitude lists you'll see often, mirror work, meditating, kindness rocks. This was my first book that I actually did the papers in the back. So I think it has the shortest, but all of my books have like really fun activities that you can do with your children. It's like mini lesson plans. I just brought the teacher out in the book. So that's something that's really important. Like love grows love. What is the opposite of love? Is it hate? Is it fear? Is it both? Just questions to start getting your children asking questions about everything, kindness, acceptance, love.
And I think it's wonderful that you do that too, because a lot of times you read a book and then you put it down, like you're reading with your children and then you put it down, or your kid reads the book and then puts it down. So, and there are times when I want to get more into the theme of the book with my kids, but I don't know what questions to ask or how to ask it in a way. So you're, it's like a value add you're adding to the back of that, which is really, the book is deep and thoughtful and wonderful to begin with. And then you're adding so much more to it by adding those activities and the discussion questions. I think that's phenomenal. I mean,
thank you.
I wish that there were other books that would do something like that so that you can keep the conversation going.
Right. It's all about, here's the thing is, look at the world we're living in pre-COVID. Okay. We were worried about school shootings, right? We're worried about, there's so much going on in the world. And the thing is that it's not that it's all bad, because there's so many beautiful things, but the news focuses on the negativity. People want to hear negativity. And I don't think everyone wants to, but the media thrives on it and people sit there and watch. So I stopped watching the news 3 years ago when I went through that whole ordeal with losing the baby. I couldn't handle it anymore. I was like, I don't need to hear what's going on in the world. I need to know about my own world. I need to know about my children, about my community, about like what I can control. And really, we have no control, as we know, but what I can control in some way. So it took me. So 2 years ago, I originally only had board books for little ones. And as my kids were getting older, I kept getting approached by teachers and school counselors saying, your books are social emotional learning books. Why are you not making them for older children? And I was like, that's it. I've had too many people ask me, I'm just doing it. And that's how it came about. Last summer, I was home almost every day. I changed every book. I wrote everything. I mean, I didn't change the physical book. The story's the same. But I added all those pages in the back. I put my heart and soul into it. And I'm super grateful that people are loving it. And like school counselors, that was my big thing pre-COVID. This past year, like school counselors started approaching me and people are using it around the country. And it's super cool like that it's happening. It's just, I don't need people to know who I am. And I genuinely, I'm not a person who likes attention. Like, I want people to have the books. I want people to have the messages. Like, that's all I want. You don't have to know who Lauren is. Like, I just want people to have those messages in their homes that people are teaching their children to like have self-awareness and think before you speak and be accepting of everyone. And that it doesn't matter what we look like, or it doesn't matter what we believe in or who we love, but what matters is how I treat someone. And if somebody treats me kindly, and I just wish that every parent focused on those things. I don't think every parent does. And I do. I have like a very strong feeling about, even when I was a teacher, I never focused on the academics. I never did. And I'm sure it bothered some people, but I always focused on the child as a whole. Like, I wanted to know when that student left my classroom, that they were going into the world as a kind person. So that's what I bring into my books.
Oh, it's awesome. There's so many things going through my mind. I wish you were my kid's teacher.
I can still be.
I don't know if I want a 13 and a 15 teaching. No, but it's important that people get to know you, because and we're so glad that you're on, because your passion is unbelievable, and it's oh my gosh, contagious.
Oh,
so I think it's wonderful. I really thank you so much for taking the time to come on tonight.
It's so great.
Thank you guys. Thank you so much.
I cannot wait to share this video with everyone. I have your website scrolling on the bottom. And then I will add all of the social media channels so people can purchase your books online directly on your website.
So you can go to Amazon Prime. They're all available worldwide. They're on my website. You can also link to Amazon for my website if you prefer that. Some people do. But if somebody wants a personalized book, like me to sign them, it has to be through my website, because those I ship out. So Amazon, I don't ship. Amazon ships their own thing. So I have no control. But yeah, the website, You can message me through the website. You can message me through social media, Instagram, Facebook. And yeah, I mean, I'll give a little shout out. I also do party favors. So I've had my books as party favors where I sign each book for each child coming to the party. Now with the drive-by.
Yeah.
So like, instead of wasting your money on junk, get a book that a kid's going to have like for the rest of their life that they was signed by the author. These I've done for a lot of toddler parties. Yeah. So that's another. And then look, this week I just got a random woman found me on Amazon, reached out and bought 17 books for her daughter's class. And I gave a pencil for every child and a bookmark. And I was like, let them feel special. It's for a Title I school. So
it's so awesome. Oh my God, I want to hug you from here.
I'm gonna hug you. Oh my God, I haven't had a hug except for my children and my husband in 9 months.
I know. I hear you. Well, we can't wait to follow you along on your journey with, I see many, many, many books in your future. So stay in touch with us as well. We'd love to have you on once again. Maybe you'll start writing some teen and tween books. And
oh my goodness.
and I could tutor you on YouTube. If you want.
You're going to have to. I need it. Thank you so much for having me. This was so fun. Today was like a stressful day and I was like, oh my God, I hope I'm not going to like totally mess up on this thing tonight. And yeah, it was
not at all. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Oh my God. Thank you.
Tell Molly, thank you for her cameo. She's adorable.
I'm surprised Isaac didn't come in. My son didn't come.
Maybe we can have them read one of your books one night on the show.
That would be so fun.
How much fun would it be? I know. I have all these things going on right now.
Okay. You tell me when.
Okay.
So I started saying at night when my kids are like, oh, I have to read a book. Fine, I'll read one of yours. Because they know most of them by heart. So I'm like, that's not reading. They're like, whatever. So yeah, they choose my books because they know. And I'm not going to say no. Yes, read my book. Read my book and memorize it.
You're going to read it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time. Happy holidays.
You too. Stay well.
You too. And we'll see you on the interwebs and in the bookstores and all over. I'm so excited.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Good night.